Hey everyone, Catch 'em All Collectibles here. In today's video, I'm going to recap Dallas Collecticon 2024. I'm going to do it in PowerPoint presentation style, as I normally do. I'm going to give you a quick outline. Stay tuned. Next slide. You don't have to stay tuned that long. The perfect formula for selling at a convention. Most common question I get, what do you bring? Yada yada. How do you sell it? How do you price it? I will tell you that in the next slide, so stay tuned about 30 seconds. I'm going to go mullet style for this presentation. I'm kind of covering it, my face here. Business in the front, party in the back. I'm going to talk about the convention, buying, selling, trading, all that good stuff up front. That's probably what most people are here for. But there are some people out there, I'm sure, at least a couple of you, that want to hear about all the extracurriculars, all the Thursday and Friday excursions. Went down with my wife a little bit early. All the shenanigans that go on late night at Collecticons, as we know they all do. So that will be at the party in the back. We'll handle that in the back side of the presentation. Without further ado, here we go. So the tips. This applies to most. This is what people are here for. Number one, it feels so obvious. A lot of these feel fairly obvious. Price everything clearly. I will show you in the next couple slides actual pictures of my inventory. A little bit of a meme. I've talked about it multiple times. I've got an affiliate link on my website. Label maker. Some people use price guns. Some people use stickers with Sharpies. However you do it, the biggest thing is getting a price on there. I'm a big fan of the label makers and such, just because my handwriting's terrible, and it makes it pop a lot more. It's a lot more visible than like the price gun your local grocery store uses, maybe your local mom and pop corner grocery store uses. And then know your numbers. So not only pricing it on what you're going to list price for the consumer, know what you'll actually take, because on occasion, I'll reference it, I'll talk about it here. Buyouts are a thing. Some people might come up and, hey, I love your inventory. I stream on XYZ platform. I want it all. Know what you're willing to take. Know what items you'll take 70, 80% on. Know what ones you're going to stand firm on. Like, know that ahead of time so that you don't have to be on the spot scrambling, trying to pull up comps, all TCG Fish, eBay sold, whatever. Know all of it up front. You're already going to have to do that if people come to try to sell to you for things that you're not up to speed with. You're already going to have to do that for if people are trying to trade towards your stuff. But know your stuff at least. And then same thing, I put in the title here, buyers and sellers. I generally vend at these things. In the future, I will attend some that I do not vend. If you're a buyer, know what you have that you're going to be proposing to trade for them. Know what the last sold were. Know what percentage, what you're willing to take. Most vendors are there to make money, right? No one's there to break even. So you're probably not going to get like a 1-for-1 trade. If your last sold is 100 and their last sold is 100, I could do 1,000 of those transactions all day, both days. I'm going to go home making no money, right? So generally speaking, a vendor, someone selling will want to give you 80% towards yours and value theirs full. And maybe knock 10% off eBay fees, whatever that they're saving. So generally speaking, plan on maybe losing a little bit to the vendor. They traveled, bought a table, whatever. They are the ones with the cost built into there, and they're trying to recoup that through making sales and winning on some trades. So plan for that. I put a long list of things. I've made so many pre and post Collecticon videos. I'll hit them really quickly. You got a really old phone like me, battery banks maybe. Can you actually make a 12-hour day? You can get, as a section, you can get power delivered there. You can get Wi-Fi. You can get all these things. Fairly expensive upcharges. I usually just bring a $20 battery bank that I bought on Amazon. I think I have one of those linked in my affiliate link. If not, I'll try to edit it between now and when this video goes live. Maybe earplugs. Maybe earplugs for that awful concert that goes on every time. Sorry to the talent that they hire. Nothing against you guys. It's more of a volume thing than actual like content. The music is always fine. It's just way too damn loud. So business cards. I mean, it's great to give out business cards with all your sales. I always have them out front. Stickers, maybe things like that. Get your brand, get your name out there. I've always got my tablecloth, as you'll see in some of the pictures. Snacks. It's a pretty long day. I want to say vendors start going at 8 a.m. both days. First day ends at 6. So first day is 10 hours. And the second day is 9 hours. The second day usually ends at 5. A buddy, my wife came with me to Dallas, having somebody with a table next to you. Great thing about how we do the whole section, I know everyone behind me and everyone within my section. You got to run to the bathroom. You want to run and do a little buying. You want this or that. Having somebody to look at your section. Great thing, if possible, to have with you. One thing that I didn't do, I meant to do it for Dallas, but I forgot to do it, and a lot of people do it. They'll have a little printout, maybe a laminated sheet with, here's my PayPal QR code. So they don't have to pull out their phone and all this and that every time. Their Venmo, if they take that, their Cash App, their Apple Pay, whatever they have, just put all those QR codes on one sheet. I still haven't done it. All it takes is doing it once, and then I'll bring that same thing to every convention. I need to do it by Charlotte, which I believe is the next one I'm vending. And then shout out Ray, Shining Cards and Collectibles. He's usually the go-to guy. He wasn't in Dallas. I think he gets them from people there, like maybe someone there at Collecticon actually has them. There's like these wipes, like I don't know if they're alcohol wipes or whatever, for cleaning all the smudges. You'll see in my pictures, like a lot of fingerprints, a lot of smudges all over all the cases. It looks nice. It may bring a little Windex in, a couple wipes, bring a couple glass cleaning wipes. It really does make the cases look a lot nicer not having all those smudges. Maybe enough for both days. Just a little idea on a few handy things that might help you out in your vending or buying things. But most of these things would apply too on the buying side. I told you, I teased it last slide. What did I say? I said the perfect formula. The perfect formula will be told. Good stuff priced well. Bring a good mix. A lot of people will ask, what moves at these things? Raw, vintage, modern, slabs, sealed, English, Japanese. It all moves. Literally millions of dollars of all these things combined, maybe all these things individually, millions of dollars of product sells every Collecticon weekend. The guys who put it on do an amazing job. Collecticon, I've not been to many other conventions yet. At some point, I'll probably put them into my travel schedule. I've been to a couple local ones. The guys are crushing it, though, who run Collecticon. They bring in a huge crowd, a lot of people looking to do a lot of consumption. And if you bring good stuff priced well, you will sell a lot of stuff. There's a fair bit of luck involved. I've talked about this at length before in previous videos. I've had product in my case every single time, even in Dallas too. I don't remember specifically what it was. People will come to me and they'll say, oh, hey, you've got the cheapest one of these, but I already bought one up front for more money. It's like some amount of luck is going to happen because you could be priced the cheapest in the building. You could have 5 people that are ready to buy that item in the building. And even if you're in the very front, say you're too far to the left, people do a snake pattern from the front right all the way to the back and around, and maybe they don't hit you till the end, even if you're towards the front. Everyone, 700 tables, 900 tables maybe it was, 90 sections, 10 tables each. The amount of people, the amount of routes that people could possibly take. Don't stress too much what table, what section you're going to be. I promise you, I've been at the back, I've been at the front, I've been at the side. As long as you're not too close to the stage, you will sell a lot of stuff if you have good stuff, labeled clearly, priced well. I've been to going on 10 now, maybe more than 10. I don't even know. I've got all these badges in a collection that I need to tally up at some point. But anyways, good stuff priced well. Lots of luck. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So if you've got the good product there and you've got it priced well, generally, and what I wrote here is bring a good mix or have a niche, have a brand. I'm a fairly tall dude. I kind of stand out. I'm like a monument that people point to. Oh, look for the tall dude. Look for the tall dude with the Catch 'em All collectible shirt. I probably should wear a old card shop usually wears that Magikarp hat. I probably should have a big hat just to go even higher with it, make it a better landmark. But I try to have a brand. I've always got heavy packs of something or other. I had Jungle and Base Unlimited at this one. I always have a fair bit of slabs. I don't really do raw. It takes so long to price, and the dollar amount, it's just not really there for me. And I always have at least one WotC box. I'll talk about that a little bit more later, which one I had and how it went. But yeah, luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So prepare, bring good stuff, price it well, and you will sell. I promise you. I promise you. Cash is king. This is buyer and seller. More I guess for the buyers. Cash is king. Some people only accept Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, Apple Pay, Zelle, probably 20 different payment things. Everyone. I've never heard of anyone not accepting cash. If you want to get the best deal, that's actually one thing that I'll say. A lot of my stuff I price relatively firm. If you're buying one thing, relatively firm. If you're talking quantity, we'll talk percentages. We'll talk 80, 75, depending on what you're buying, how many you're buying. We'll talk percentages. You got cash though, everything becomes negotiable. We won't get too deep into the reasons as to why, but a lot of people prefer cash. It's just smoother, easier. If the internet's not working, if someone's phone broke, if their phone's not getting good service, it's universal. It is the universal language, and it will give you the best prices. You point out $1,000 item in my case, and you start talking Venmo, you start talking, the price is different than if you start laying out Benjamins. I promise you. And that is a fairly common thing across most vendors, I would say. Lodging, last little tip. I think this is one thing that I definitely talk about throughout my videos at some point. But some people go the Airbnb route. Some people go, hey, let's, within 5-10 minute drive, we'll Uber over, we've got a car, whatever it may be. You got a car, a little bit easier, then you got to worry about parking and this and that. I am very bullish on the recommended hotel. Sometimes it's not super cheap, but they have done a pretty good job of picking a good recommended hotel. Generally speaking, I know like Denver a couple years ago, it was a long ways away. Sometimes it's been a drive. I think later this year, I've heard the recommended hotel for New Jersey is like 15-minute drive. That's not ideal. To me, this is a thing of beauty. So I left my room, I went down the elevator, and I stayed in the Omni. Skywalk to the convention center. It happened to be the furthest convention room. I mean, it was the equivalent of multiple blocks, but it was all inside. The weather was beautiful, so it wasn't a big deal. It would have been great to walk outside, 60, 65 degree weather, t-shirt and shorts when I'm escaping New York February winter. But anyways, being physically connected to the hotel, huge bonus for me. So many of the conventions, that's like the standard, so that is very typical. But I almost always go recommended hotel. Airbnbs, all that stuff, those can be great, especially hanging out with a bunch of friends. The late night shenanigans and stuff that can go on. I've been in the recommended hotel and I've ended up out at an Airbnb. A bunch of my friends have had great times. So different things you can do. Just wanted to discuss kind of the pros and cons quickly of each. Usually, recommended one is a little bit more expensive, but it's right there. Roll out of bed in the morning after 2, 3, maybe 4 hours of sleep if you're lucky, and then you're right there ready to go. Set up your table. So any room, just kind of a strange prompt that I wanted to put. Something that I heard more than normal. I wanted to call it out specifically because for whatever reason, and it has me kind of rethinking my strategy. So my strategy, going back to the last slide, good stuff priced well. I almost am contemplating pricing things a little bit more poorly so that people will be able to win. I've definitely had this conversation before. I've had this thought before. It's not like it's completely escaped me, the idea of this thought. But I also have gray felt hats everywhere, which I will talk about soon. But this whole any room thing, shortly I'll show you a couple photos of trades and deals that I did on Saturday. Unfortunately, I forgot Saturday to take a start photo of my section. Usually I post that on Instagram and stuff. I forgot to do it completely. I do have a final on Sunday. I do have like middle of the day Sunday. But anyways, any room. A lot of people would come up. What they would do was they'd point at a card and they'd say, hey, is there any room on that? And I'd say, I'm pretty firm on that. Because going back to what I said earlier, if they said like any room in that if I pay in cash, if I had it listed for $160, I'd say, I could do $150. But if they're pointing out one card that's like $700 and they just say any room, I don't know if you're paying with Venmo, I don't know if you're paying with cash, lead with the fact of how you're paying. But usually I just say, no, that's pretty firm. That's priced pretty well. That's pretty firm. And they just walk away. They wouldn't even pull out their phone to scan it with all. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't comp it. They just walk away. Some people will only buy if they can win, I think. I think I learned that, and I think that was reinforced a little bit more. Because what I started doing was, after maybe 5 people just, any room, I said no, pretty firm, and they just walked away. I started saying, shoot me a number. Like throw me a number. How are you paying? I gave a little bit more like leeway. And then when they started talking like, oh, well, you're listed for 800, I want to do 600. It's like, okay, like I want to do 600. I want to pay with credit card. Never mind. I'm firm. But yeah, pretty interesting phenomenon. I know some people price at eBay and they intentionally leave that space so that the buyer can win, right? So that they'll come down on everything universally, even if the person's paying with a credit card, even if the person's doing Venmo, whatever. I generally price it like my stuff is usually priced really well. It's priced eBay, last sold. Some of the WotC we'll get to later, I generally had been pricing a little bit higher. This convention though, I'm like, I'm not taking this stuff home. Good stuff, priced very well, very well. Gray felt hats were everywhere. This trade actually, a light art set valued at 900, a Festa Pikachu there valued at 1,000, so 1,900 bucks. I want to say we did 40. No, it couldn't have been that many. I forget exactly what it was, but somehow or another, maybe it was 30 or 40 here and then 10 or 20 elsewhere. I ended up with 51 at one point. I had 51 gray felt hat Pikachus. They were everywhere. There was a guy up front, a business up front that bought, I heard 400 of them at like 70 bucks a pop. I think I took these ones in at 65 each, and I popped them into my case shortly thereafter for 70 or 75 a piece, and I was taking 70 people offered it. I didn't take any home though. I was very happy after seeing how many sealed cases of 25 of them that were abundant throughout. I talked to a few guys that were from the UK that had been to the Netherlands the week prior at a convention. I talked to some people that were actually from the Netherlands there that had stacks on stacks on stacks. How they got them, whatever the story is, I have no idea. But anyways, I probably sold 10 of these ish at retail, 75 each. That was one of the items that a lot of people pointed at. Look, wow, 75, that's the least I've seen. I've seen some people with 100, some people with 90, 80, some people with 120. A couple people pointed at and were like, oh, I paid 100 over there. It's like, well, if you want another one, I got one for 75. I got one for, I'll do 70 so that you're in them for 85 each or whatever. But anyways, I sold about 10 one by one, and I went to the front. Shout out to Harry and Sam from the UK for pointing out to me that the guy up front had bought like 400 of them or 500 of them. I went up and I'm like, hey, you already bought 400 or 500. What's another 40? Like the way that I sold it to him, I'm like, if originally 440 came instead of 400, you would have bought all 440. So you might as well buy these 40 now. I was doing the whole salesman thing. I ended up selling them at like 67 and a half or 65 a piece. I don't remember the exact numbers, but I just sold them straight cash, which was great to get out of them. Little worried, not investment advice, not financial advice. I didn't take any home. I am fairly bearish in the short to medium term on what the price of those will do. Sealed, graded in every form. So yeah, that was one notable thing. Gray felt hats were everywhere. So you can kind of see, unfortunately, I don't have a picture of the whole setup. I had some of peaked at true slabs down on the bottom of this side. I had booster bundles, 151 booster bundles that were Colts as well. A lot of WotC. Right case was mostly WotC. Left case was more modern. You do see a little bit of WotC there. All I really got here is a shot of the middle. I did have, we'll talk about that big trade you just saw in a second. I did have in the left case, my left, stage left, stage right. I don't know how that works, but my left, the buyer's right. I had a base unlimited box, and I also had base unlimited heavy packs. Jungle first edition heavy packs. I only sold one heavy pack all weekend. I actually had I had these two, which you'll see that I took home. Obviously, they're in my hand right now. I had base starter decks, Japanese, that didn't sell. I had One Piece. I had maybe 50 One Piece promos of the Luffy and of the Zoro, I believe, is the second anniversary Chinese New Year. All those sold. They were selling like hotcakes one by one. And then somebody offered me fairly close just to buy the rest of them out. I'm like, take them because I don't have much One Piece. It doesn't really fit in. I had 10 boxes of OP05 or 8 or 10 boxes of OP05 that all sold. This was a big trade I had. So I forget exactly how the guy came over to my case, and he worked with loose packs, but it wasn't the guy who runs loose packs himself. He had his own table here. As you can see, what the cards, what the trade is over. Some hot, like some fire stuff, some really solid stuff. I ended up trading into this Luigi that ended up selling. I didn't take this Luigi home. I think we valued that at $1,750, which was last sold, and I think that's about what I got. And then the Mario Pikachu was valued at $5,500. Funny thing, I had one on consignment, and it sold. I had one on consignment, and it sold Thursday night for $6,000. Thursday night or Friday night for $6,000, and we valued it at $5,500 because there had been a couple sales around $5,500. Shout out to my Buy It Now consignment service. Feel free to message me if you're interested in consigning. But yeah, I was happy. I mean, low list is $5,950 currently. One I have on consignment, another one I have on consignment. So we'll see if that one sells before this one of my own gets into the eBay vault. But I was happy taking that in at 5,500 when I had just sold one for 6. There was a bunch of cash. I forget exactly how much, maybe 6-ish thousand cash on the other side of that. So I traded the box for these two and 5,500 to 6,000 cash, somewhere in there. Good trade. I mean, one thing that I'll do a lot of times, I'll bring a WotC box. If I only had one base heavy left that didn't sell. I had a base unloaded heavy for 700. If anyone's interested, hit me up. I could sell it to you. I was going to crack this box. My full intent was to crack this box. A lot of people looked at the heavy base, hollow guarantee, hemming and hawing, and people looked at this, hollow guarantee, they were hemming and hawing. No one ended up buying them. I sold one heavy jungle first edition pack. No one was really ready to gamble this weekend for whatever reason. But yeah, I'm like, I don't really want to take the box home. Let me go see if I can trade it. This was really close to the end of the day Saturday. So I went out there and I got this trade done and I was really happy. Breaking even. I didn't make a ton of money on the box, but breaking even, half in cash, half in trade. Pretty decent deal there. This is one thing that happened. So you see the case is empty. This was before setup. Coming Saturday, when you watch this coming Saturday, I will have a video. Officially, I have bought back my first MetaZoo promo. For anyone unfamiliar with what this is, what's Dan talking about, I have my own promo. 500 of them I have. I've sold about 100 I sold 100 and I gave away about 25 or 30. There's about 130 out in the wild. I sold them at $19.99 or I gave them away for free. I had a buyback for 20 bucks. As long as I'm alive, no one will lose money on this card. As long as I'm alive, I will buy them back for 20 bucks. Something else happened. Once I bought one back, I'll get into it more Saturday, but something changed. Notice a couple funny things about this promo. One, there's more than $20 on the table. What's that all about, Dan? We'll talk about it Saturday. So watch my video Saturday. What's up with this promo? Not only is it stamped with Dan's seal, it looks like it's signed by Larry Steven Fujisan, the man of many names. We'll talk about the man of many names a few times in this video. Great guy. Loved seeing him this week and always love running into him, as well as everyone else. But yeah, he took his promo and he's like, hey, Dan said he's buying them back for 20. He didn't say it had to be he didn't say anything about the condition. Like he sealed it himself. He kind of damaged it himself with his corporate seal. He folded it up a couple times, and regardless of condition, as long as they're not burned, as long as they're fully intact, don't try ripping it in half and sell me 2 separate halves. But anyways, I had to include there is action on the Dan MetaZoo promos. Things have changed. We'll address them Saturday. I'll leave that for Saturday. So Sunday. By far, so eBay Vault is now open. I pitched my eBay Vault consignment service. Let me see if I have it handy. I think I do. Oh, I don't think I have it handy. Oh, that's a bummer. Anyways, the eBay Vault consignment service. Maybe I do here. Let me see. No, where do I have it? I have it here, but it's all screwed up. I shouldn't have gone for it, but anyways, the eBay Vault buy now consignment service is open. If you're interested to send it, send it. Get in touch with me. We'll figure it out. 1 to 4%. 1 to 4%, depending on the sale price. I will sell your cards through my eBay Vault. Part of the reason I'm bringing that up, most of my good stuff, I can sell it for 0% fees through the eBay Vault. Most of my good stuff, greater than 250 single graded cards, it's all in the eBay Vault. Like, why would it not be? So my stuff at Collecticon was noticeably lower end. Noticeably cheaper. Usually I have a decent spread of $500 to $1,000 cards, maybe a handful of 5, 6, 7. I did have this Art Academy that I want to get recased because it's in the CGC Blue label. I did have a couple cards that like just came in that didn't yet get to the eBay Vault. But anyways, that is a noticeable difference in my inventory. I always bring slabs, but now my slabs, due to the eBay Vault existing, will be lower end just by design because all my expensive stuff I send there to get the low selling fees. But highest ever sell through of everything that I brought, largely fueled by that, largely fueled by not having as much mid-high end. I brought home more slabs on consignment that I am sending to my eBay Vault than I brought home unsold inventory. The stack of unsold inventory, and including this stack, is a couple cards that I actually traded for. Like these two I traded for. But this is the whole bit of unsold inventory. I brought probably, counting my shoe boxes, which I forgot to address a little bit, but we're going through the wrong things here. Instead of going through the slideshow, I was going through my my OBS settings. So I brought 220 slabs in these 2 shoe boxes. What it said, someone's actually bending down. Well, yeah, they're looking at this trade, but I think that's actually how we got to the total value. So now I'm jogging my own memory. It was 50 Gray Felt Hat Pikachus approximately. They did this card, these loose packs, light packs, and then they did a ton of cards from in here. They did a ton of cards in here. So what I had in here was, I had cards between 20 and 40 bucks a piece. For the 40 a piece, if you did 3, I did 100 bucks. For the 20 a piece, if you did 6, I did 100 bucks. So it's like buy 5, get 1 free, buy 3, get 1 3, or buy, well, that doesn't really work out. You just get a discount if you buy 3 with the 40. I also had $25, $30 tiers. These have done well for me. I did this the first time maybe in Orlando last year. I forget exactly when I did it. This is going to be like a staple for me, I think. This is going to be a mainstay. What I used to do in the past, what I've done at prior conventions, I've bulked this out to like a whatnotter or a drip streamer too early. I refused all that until like the end of the day Saturday. So I didn't really want to carry it back to my hotel room. Such a long walk, as I talked about earlier. But I probably sold half of what was in these to the normal consumer, to the end consumer throughout the whole day Saturday. And then the end of the day Saturday, I took a buyout for like 80, 85%, whatever it was. Pretty reasonable number on the remainder, on the balance. So I probably sold 120 to the end consumer, and then I sold maybe the last 100 that were thoroughly picked over to the buyout, to the streamer at the end. And Saturday was a lot stronger than Sunday overall. Highest sell through Saturday for sure, including that big trade for the box. Sunday was a slow starter, very slow starter. This is what I went home with. This is what I ended with. So there's my Pika that I got in trade. Here's the heavy packs that I talked about not really selling. Here's a couple of booster bundles that were actually peaked at shoes. And then I did sell a decent amount of the Type A Pikachus, the New Way coins. I brought those. They weren't even in my case half the day Saturday because there wasn't space. They were never really going to sell. But this was after Cloud. People might be familiar with that name. Cloud bought all my WotC PSA 9s. We did 75% on those. I've carried those things to so many conventions, and every convention of the like 80 WotC slabs I bring, I sell like 8. I sell like 8 random full price solo sales. It's like, oh, you got the Aquapolis Wheezing or whatever. I'll take that one. You got whatever it may be. You've got the Azumarill from Neo Destiny, the light Azumarill, I think. Or you got the Delibird from Neo Revelation. One by one, it's like, I just want these gone. If I had auctioned all those 2 years ago and brought them to no Collecticons, I would have been better off. If I had just taken 70% at the first Collecticon 2 years ago that I went to, I would have been better off. So I got tired of carrying those things around. I just bulked them out. I do have a little bit more that I didn't bring to that one that maybe I'll have at the next one. But anyways, this was my end of the day Sunday. I've never had my cases this empty. It was a beautiful thing. All these were consignments. Over here, all these were consignments. Trade right there. These 3 up here. So Charizard, Venusaur, Blastoise. Where's the Charizard? Oh, the Charizard was actually at BGS. That was one thing that I wanted to mention too. For the first time ever, I actually went and I tried crossing cards with BGS. They were there up in the front corner. $25. $25, shoot your shot. I brought I think I forgot to include the photo, but I brought a Charizard that I had right here. A CGC 8.5 German Charizard. I also brought my CGC 8 Melly Pikachu, and I brought a consigner's card. And $25. I left them Sunday morning at about 9 a.m. Right when like VIP opened, I went over. 9:30 a.m. They said come back by 1 o'clock, it'll be done. Unfortunately, none of my 3 cards upgraded. It would have been neutral for the Art Academy, so I didn't cross it. I kind of, in hindsight, maybe I should have taken the BGS 8 over a CGC 8 with the subgrades that I have. But anyways, I kept it. I think I'm going to crack it and just go for CGC again. Feels fairly harsh. I feel like that could be an 8.5. Definitely not a 9, but 8.5 potentially. This stayed an 8.5 too. So again, this one I feel like I might just crack and re-roll. Maybe I'll try it with PSA. It looks like it could potentially be a PSA 9. A lot of CGC 8.5 old certs have turned into PSA 9s. Who knows? We'll see what I do with that. And the consigner card, that wasn't gonna upgrade either. That wasn't gonna that didn't end up getting crossed. But $25 to see if it will cross. Shoot that shot. Certain cards, like if this card went up a half grade, hundreds of dollars. If this card went up half grade, easily hundreds of dollars. There's a lot of cards out there that's potentially worth a shot. So that is something that I will keep in mind at future conventions and potentially be doing more often. Just trying to, whether it's a PSA 9 to a BGS 9.5, whether it's a BGS, whatever it may be, just trying to go up, trying to slab optimize and make a little money. So Sunday, one thing that I normally do, I normally buy a meal for my section. I normally, and this will come back up again, Hops and Hens. Hops and Hens, if you ever go to Dallas Collecticon and it's at the Omni, in future years, this is me talking to future Dan, hit up Hops and Hens. The tenders there, the chicken sandwiches, amazing. This is a buffalo one. I'll show you later. I had like a cowboy one with bacon and stuff on it. Amazing food at Hops and Hens. Good beers too. I don't remember what IPA I had, but it was a very solid one. This was a shout out to Maria. So Maria vended next to me, one of my longtime consigners. She's even got the label maker there. Maria cleaned up. She had as many slabs as I did. And this is what she went home with. Not very much. She consigned a few cards with me further, a couple of the higher end ones for the eBay vault. Shout out Jake Smith. This orange Gatorade over here was a nice care package for me on Sunday. I appreciate that. Got to keep the homies hydrated. So now we are moving to the backside of the mullet. We have completed the business in the front. Got to take a sip. We're gonna do the party in the back now. So just to jog my own memory, because a big photo dump is coming. The horrible way that I put them into this PowerPoint. Apologies for my lack of great editing and formatting and all that. But if you're here, you know what to expect. So you're gonna get about what you expect. So Thursday, my wife and I went fairly early. My parents took the grandkids. They had a great time, long sleepover at the grandparents' house, having fun with them back in New York. And we went down Thursday. We hit up a Mexican spot for lunch. I'm a big food guy. I always show my food on these trips. My wife and I love to travel. We intend to see all 50 states eventually. Once our kids are older, including them in more of that. But food's a big thing. I always go big into planning the food and where we end up going. We hit Mexican for lunch. We went to an aquarium, kind of a zoo aquarium thing. I'll show a couple of photos from there. And then Deep Ellum, it's a location in Dallas that's like an hour and a half east of the convention, or a mile and a half east of the convention center. It was like a 30, 40-minute walk. We actually walked there, and then we Ubered back because it was dark in the city and this and that. But a couple little semi-sketchy areas we walked on our way over to get there. So it's like, when it's dark in the city, late at night, we should probably just Uber back. So that's what we did. Friday, we hit up the zoo. And I kind of told other Pokemon people that, hey, I'm going to be doing my thing with my wife Thursday and Friday. Thursday dinner, though. I'll be there for Thursday dinner and then all the stuff afterwards. So Friday night was busy. We hit Hops and Hens for the first time. We hit Rare Candy, had a little dinner thing at Texas Spice, I believe it was called, inside the hotel. And then we hit Select Start. Corey Godzilla. He has a bar that he owns down in Dallas. Really cool, barcade type thing. Then we hit pizza. 3:30 a.m. My photo details show me. I lose all concept of time when I'm several IPAs deep. I did not realize I was up till 3:30. Bit later than I would have intended. But great night Friday night. Saturday night we didn't go as hard. We went to Cowboy Chow after the convention for dinner. Thrifty set all that up. Shout out to Thrifty. I am not going to shout out everybody during this video. I always feel so bad. I'm definitely going to miss people. I apologize for that. But I remember everyone that I saw, and I had a great time with you, and I appreciate all you for sure. Then we hit up just the hotel bar, and we ended up sitting outside the hotel bar. I may or may not have had a backpack of 6 IPAs that I picked up at 7-Eleven. Whenever I get into Collecticon, and we did this on Thursday, I always do my grocery shopping. I always stock my fridge with IPAs for pre-gaming, post-gaming, whatever it may be. I always I always get water and Powerade for hydration. I always get a bunch of snacks. So I was ready to go. Did my grocery shopping on Thursday. Ended up before we went out, we went to Zach's. Zach had a nice room, gem at Pokemon. So went there, had a couple IPAs. Then we went out. I think that was Friday when I went to Zach's room somewhere before in between here. But it's always so like I have such a bad memory. It's always hard to keep perfect track. That's why I do this. A lot of this is like for me so that I can just look back and remember, because mixing them all together too, like I can never remember who was at which one, and I always mix them all up. So here's the extracurriculars. This was our Mexican lunch on Thursday. My wife here, me over there, got the nice Rangers shirt. The Rangers had just beaten the Stars, so I made sure to wear my Rangers shirt to show people what's up. She had fajitas and I had enchiladas. Really good food. Well, one of our Uber drivers actually told us like Dallas has good barbecue and all that. The Mexican is not good though. The Mexican is lacking. So naturally, the first place we go is Mexican. Really good food. Like it was solid. Nice little rice pyramid here. I think I shared this one in Discord. Great food there. Nothing to complain about. This was in the zoo aquarium thing. These alligators, you can't see the photo, but like I'm a tall dude, long arms. I could have reached in and like grabbed these alligators. So some of the exhibits in this aquarium zoo place, I think it was like $30 a pop. It was really cool. It was actually really cool. But had a great time. A lot of cool animals. I'll show a couple more. I didn't take a ton of pictures, but these were actually stolen from my wife's phone too. I didn't hardly take any. But this one and then a couple more, I could have physically reached in and grabbed them. Pretty crazy to me. You're probably not going to have people reaching in and grabbing alligators. But the fact that it even could happen was just crazy to me. Some kind of a saw shark thing. I don't know. I just thought the eyes and the mouth, funny looking sharks. It was one of those things where it's like a tunnel down in like the downstairs of the aquarium. So the way this place worked, it was probably like 4 or 5 stories. And the first few stories were all above, a lot of birds, some monkeys, things like that. And then you kind of like meandered your way through a maze. Like the whole setup was really cool, really weird though. Kind of like a maze through multiple floors, multiple stories. And then the bottom couple stories are down in the aquarium. You actually walk under, like through a tunnel, and these things were just like chilling, like laying on the top. You walk under them, or they were like zooming over. Lots of different sharks, and it was a cool setup. This is me with the penguins. Look, this is me bending down a lot to be with the penguin. My armpit was like the height of that glass. I could have just reached down and pet a penguin. Like I didn't do it. I kind of regret it a little bit. I probably should have done it. Probably would have got bit. Maybe someone would have saw me. I probably would have got kicked out. It's probably better that I didn't do it, but I kind of wanted to. And I could have. I could have physically reached the penguin. We have penguins at zoos near me. You can't reach them. They take away the temptation. But in Dallas, they don't, I guess. Dallas Zoo, these things are going to be out of order. I did my best to put them in the proper order, but yeah, Dallas Zoo was Friday. So this is Friday now. Those former things were all at the aquarium though. No, the penguins were at the zoo. The penguins were at the zoo. So I'm kind of mixing up the aquarium Thursday and the zoo Friday, but it is what it is. There's the view from our room, which I accidentally covered up by the Dallas Zoo sign. You can see that I didn't order these layers properly. Thursday night, sorry. So we're back to Thursday now. We did a tour of, I called it a tour of Deep Ellum. I don't know if I'm saying that right even. But in Deep Ellum, there were 2 very highly rated. And I live in upstate New York. You look at a good restaurant, they might have 100 reviews on Google Reviews. They might have 100 be rated 4.8, 4.9 stars, whatever. This place, Terry Black's, had like 10,000 reviews, and it was rated like 4.7. And I don't know what the deal was, but big thing in Texas. I think it happened in Houston last year too. They give you a slice of white bread. I don't really understand it. I don't really get it. But I mean, I'm going to take my slice of white bread and I'm going to eat it. I don't think this was a thing in Houston, but it was in Dallas. Onions and pickles. Like you don't buy this. This isn't something we like paid more to buy. You get a meat. You get onions and pickles. I'm a big fan of onions and pickles. So like I was all about it. But 4.8, 4. Whatever it was. It was good. Mine's better. My briskets are better. I will say, late last year in Houston, a few months ago, best brisket I've ever had. Since that brisket in Houston, I've been working on my brisket game. I've probably made like 5 briskets. Thanksgiving, New Year, Super Bowl, and then I found a couple more excuses to make more. My briskets are better than both places we had our brisket at in Dallas. I don't know. I can't speak for Dallas as a whole, but we went to pictured Terry Black's, not pictured, Pecan Lodge. My opinion, where I went, Pecan Lodge is a lot better. I think it only had half the reviews, maybe only 5,000 reviews, maybe only 4.5, 4.6 stars, but the brisket was a lot better at Pecan Lodge. Really big fan. We also got the mac and cheese at Pecan Lodge. My wife wasn't a big fan. It had some like chili peppers in it or something. But I'm bummed I forgot to take a picture of the brisket at Pecan Lodge. I mean, nice and juicy, nice texture and all that. But I don't know what wood they used. I'm assuming at Pecan Lodge they probably used pecan. I don't know what wood they used at Terry Black's, but I wasn't a huge fan. Really cool though. It says pit tours here. We didn't like get a tour. Maybe I should have like talked to somebody and they would have let us walk in. But I just kind of looked from afar. All the smokers set up. My dad in years back, over a decade, maybe a couple decades ago, he actually custom built some smokers out of like old, well, unused oil tanks. But really, really cool to see. I mean, to see the equipment in the back, see what they're working with on the barbecue side. So yeah, we went from Terry Black's. We only got the brisket just to try it, and the pickles and onions and the white bread. And then from Terry Black's, we walked to Pecan Lodge, which was only a couple blocks away. Along the way, my wife saw a place that had beignets. She had never had a beignet, apparently. I took a bite of it. It's kind of like a donut, but not really, but kind of like fried dough, somewhere in between. It was fine. She liked it. First one she ever had, I guess. And she's like a dessert person, so yeah, we did Terry Black's brisket, then a beignet, then we went to Pecan Lodge, and we just got brisket with brisket, pulled pork, and pork ribs. All very good. Pecan Lodge was like significantly better than Terry Black's, but it was not nearly as good as Houston though either. Houston brisket was better than mine. My brisket was better than Dallas brisket. I will say that. Maybe there's a better place in Dallas. Let me know in the comments below. The spot in Dallas that I didn't go to apparently. If you think the spot is Terry Black's, maybe I caught him on a bad day. I don't know what the deal was, but it was not that great. Like it was still brisket, so it was good, but it wasn't like brisket good. Then after Pecan Lodge, like I feel like a couple chicken wings. All these things that were coming up in my searches, like chicken, best chicken ever, world famous chicken. So Gus's world famous chicken. I got like 3 chicken wings a la carte to go. I may or may not have had them. No alcohol involved yet. This is Thursday night. No alcohol involved. I did not drink it all Thursday. This looks like what would happen after a late night of IPAs. Like 3 a.m. Dan getting into some chicken wings. Completely sober here. Completely sober here at like midnight. Whenever it was. I don't remember. 11 o'clock, midnight. We didn't go to bed super late. So, yeah, that was me. That was our little food tour of Deep Ellum. Overall, good, but like not as good as Houston, I will say. Macaroons. My wife got a 6-pack of macaroons. This was on our walk to Deep Ellum at a farmer's market thing. A little bit of a sketchy area leading to it, and then afterwards, it was a pretty nice area. But a lot of like abandoned housing and stuff, and that's why we ended up Ubering back at the end of the night. This one is going back to Thursday, the aquarium. Bunch of wiglets. You gotta take a picture of the wiglets. Popping in and out there. They were funny. So this is this Saturday night? No. This is man, yeah, this has got to be no, this is Friday night. This is Friday night cuz going back to Friday, we went to Hops and Hens where I had that chicken sandwich. Then we went to the rare candy thing. The rare candy thing was cool. It was I mean Leonhardt put it on and he had kind of like open bar, had an open tab. I got my name on there, got my name in there somehow, and it ended up in there. Me, Nick, handful of people. I didn't eat like a meal there because I had just been to the chicken place. They had appetizers. I tried a couple things, good food. But yeah, this was after dinner, after the Leonhardt thing, after we went to the barcade. Then we got pizza. I looked at the time on this, 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. This was a lot later than I realized. We ordered, I don't remember what we even ordered. I don't know who was in charge of that, but we got the man of many names himself here. We got Larry, we got Steven, we got Fuji-san cards all in one. We got Adam and Adam, Pokesmoke and Vandy, and then we got old school Pokemon. 3:30 a.m. We ordered some kind of pizza. We waited forever, crazy long line. Somehow, a massive slice, pepperoni and jalapeno pizza came to us, and we devoured it. So good time, good time. Very late night Friday night. Here's more extracurriculars. So this is going to Saturday now. This is a lot of people from our section. This is one thing I will say. I'm terrible at taking photos. I always take a photo of the section that I park at when I get to the airport so that I find my car when I get back to the airport to go home. I took that picture. I took about like 6 pictures, mostly of trades, mostly of my table. That one pizza one was me. A couple food ones were me. But I'm so bad. Like, I wish I had pictures with more people. Like, if you want a picture with me, come up to me, ask me. Like, I will always say yes to can I have a picture. Doesn't happen that much, but it does happen some, and I always oblige. I wish we would get more pictures. My wife took the initiative here. She's heard me say that, so she took the initiative. Shout out to Mrs. Ketchum. She took one from each side. So we got a bunch of great people here. I'm not going to call out everybody, but we got Max, we got Sterling, we got man of many names, Fuji-san himself, Adam, we got Jake Smith, we got Hoot, we got Jake, we got lots of people here. Lots of people here. Great crew. This was, shout out to Thrifty. Thrifty is the one who found this joint. Cowboy Chow, I said earlier, I believe it was called. My wife got some burger, fries, some kind of cheesecake, dessert, whatever it was. I'm not a big sweet tooth. I didn't take a picture. This is one thing that, like, I knew when I was ordering it that it wasn't going to be what I wished it would be in my mind. It was called a brisket grilled cheese. Slacking on the cheese, like, it was good. I will say it was good. It tasted good. 6.5, 7 out of 10. It was fine. But they called it a brisket grilled cheese with a fried egg on it. I mean, the egg hit real nice, but the it wasn't like smoked brisket. It was probably like slow cooker brisket, which if you're in Texas, I mean, slow cooker brisket should be like a sin, I would think. I mean, you gotta smoke the brisket. You gotta have like, I'm envisioning, if I ever do the food truck years down the line, decade down the line, if I have a brisket grilled cheese, it is gonna be whole slabs of brisket on a sandwich with a lot of cheese, with a fry. Like, it's not gonna be this. This was good. I mean, I was happy with it, especially with the IPAs paired well. I also got picarones. I don't know how to say it properly, but fried pork skins, pork rinds. A lot of people probably know them as. I'm a big fan of pork rinds. Pork rinds were flowing around the table. Can you see them in the pictures? I don't think you can see them in the pictures. Oh yeah, there's a basket right there. Maybe you can see that, maybe you can't. But that's it. Coming in under 50 minutes, probably a little over 50 minutes by the time I wrap up. That's the end. I think I have maybe one more picture to send it off. But Bean, I have not seen too many videos yet this week. It is now, what day is it? It's Friday as I record this. I know Brad did do a quick video on some pickups, trades, things like that. There are so many things I didn't cover. I mean, I was there for Thursday early. We got in very early all the way to Sunday night. We flew out a little early. I always pick up, not always, but I usually pick up around 3 p.m. or so. Usually I got to fly out, catch a flight that night. Same thing as I did here. But yeah, it was not as big as like Charlotte. I think for my Charlotte video, I think I had like 10 videos that I referenced on this final slide. I think the only video that I saw so far, I mean, Nick hasn't made one. Gemet Pokemon hasn't made one. I'm trying to think if I missed any other ones, but Brad made one. Go check that out. Brad G Cards, if you haven't watched that yet. He will be on Pokeflips this week too. So Friday, we will have, somehow, we haven't yet had Brad G Cards on Pokeflips. He's been at like every convention I've been at, and then some, I think. Every convention Nick's been at, probably, at least most of them. So we will be recapping Dallas a bit further. If this was not enough, we will recap it further. Again, major MetaZoo update video. Not MetaZoo as like a company, MetaZoo as a whole, but the Dan MetaZoo promo. Let me give you a very long arm's length. There's another promo coming out. I don't know if at this distance you can make out anything. But the next promo that's coming out, significantly more limited. I mean, it's MetaZoo. I got to do MetaZoo type stuff with it. There's only going to be 50. Only going to be 50 of these. Stay tuned for Saturday to see what's up, see what it looks like. and figure out when it's gonna drop. But yeah, that's everything. One thing that I did as like a memento, I have my own playmats that I had made up on. Well, these ones I bought on Amazon through my Stream Elements, through my merch thing. You can buy a desk mat, which is massive, like 36 by 18. But yeah, this is a playmat of mine that I bought a while back, and I just had everybody from my section and the section next door. Jake had a half section with him, Grimer, Fujisan, and then everyone in my section, just so that I don't get lost on here reading every name. You had Jake and Dylan, Grimer, and Fujisan over in the other half section. I did get Nick and Zach. They didn't vend, but they were a big part of my weekend. Hung out with them a lot. Zach had a really cool room in the Omni, little bit of a sweet setup there. So hung out there a little bit, maybe pre-gamed with some IPAs as I mentioned. But yeah, going around like counterclockwise for me. I actually did do it from memory, but I have it here because I wasn't going to be able to rattle it off again. Maria, my consigner, I showed you her table earlier. She crushed it. She sold a higher percentage than I did. She took hardly anything home. She's going to be in LA actually. She crushed it. She's gonna be doing a few this year. Sean, Connor, Sandy, Smoke, Lord Pokey Smoke, the two Adams side by side. Then you had Hoo over in the back corner, kind of opposite corner from me. And you had Sterling. Then you had Jason, and then Brad G Cards was right by my right side. Brad G Cards was my right hand man. The that convention. So yeah, that's everything. That's everything I had. 51 minutes. I kept it under an hour. I estimated an hour. Usually when I'm getting better at estimating, because usually when I estimate, it ends up being like 50% longer. But I'm getting better at it. If you have any questions, comments. Oh, one thing I forgot to show. Yeah, this was just the names that I just read off. This was like how and where in that Discord that we do the planning. If you're ever interested, feel free to email me, DM me, whatever. Find me somehow, and I can link you to the Discord where we do the planning, because I booked the whole section and a half, and then people just like sublet the tables from me. It ends up working out really well. As I mentioned earlier, one of my favorite things in the hobby, one of the favorite things about all this is like just enjoying all this with people who have shared interest. We all have this shared interest in cardboard, and YouTube is a lot of fun. YouTube lives, YouTube is a lot of fun engaging with people who have shared interest, maybe educating, entertaining, whatever. All that stuff I cover. All that warm and fuzzy stuff that I cover. But the conventions are really awesome. Business-wise, they're great. Buying, selling, trading, all that stuff. I do have, I forgot to put it all together, but I have a small stack here. Nothing crazy. Oh yeah, Brad gave me this Jeff Gordon serialized card because we were talking about that the other day in office hour. And then, yeah, my whole raw pickups, and then a couple openings. I opened some Evolving Skies packs that were all hollows and higher. Most of them were hollows and higher. Like 14 out of the 18 had hollows, I believe. No Moonbreons, just mostly hollows and some bulk EVs. I got a couple alt arts in here and there in trade. Nothing significant though. I meant to show them on the desk cam. My desk is still too much of a mess. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your schedule for 2024. If you've made it this far, where am I going to see you at? I will be at New Jersey for only one of the 2 days. I will be there only for a couple hours. My family and I, that weekend in the area, we have a family vacation going on. So I will stop in with my kids, my wife, one of the days. I will give them a little budget to go around. Maybe I'll do a little bit of content around that, them buying stuff from people in the section there. We'll see. But I will also be vending at Charlotte and Chicago. So if you're going to be there, let me know. Stop by, come say hi. If you're going to be at other ones, let me know in the comments below. I'm sure you'll have a blast. Every one of these, it would be great to be able to make all of them, but no way. Like 12 of them in a year, it's great for the hobby. It's great that they're doing so many and they're crushing it, the people putting this on. So yeah, as always, I appreciate you all watching. I will catch you all later.